Hey everyone, and welcome to Project Premium Harvest. My name is Matt, and I will discuss what Project Premium Harvest is all about, why I did it. I go into details of the two different strategies I'm adopting to mitigate risk. I discuss the channel naming, then finally talk about different concerns. Let's get started. Project Premium Harvest is a channel dedicated towards leveraging debt to become rich. The goal is to use as little of my own money as possible to produce a monthly income stream. I took an $80,000 heloc loan against a rental property I own, took that cash from that loan, threw it into Robinhood, then borrowed 75% against the $80,000 to buy $140,000 worth of nvdy yieldmax shares. I estimate my monthly premium payments to be somewhere between $5,800 to $13,000. If you annualize that return, it's between $69,000 to $164,000. All right, now let's talk about the why. This slide is not designed to brag or put people down or make you guys feel bad, but it's just kind of a raw look into my mentality of what my situation is. All right, so to really understand my mentality, you first have to understand where it came from. A little background about me is that I was in the military for nearly 10 years as enlisted. Early on during my service, I remember making less than $1,200 a month. I tried to save as much as I could in my retirement accounts, but initially I was going to do my 20 years, retire, and collect that pension payment. Fast forward to today, and I am out of the military. I learned a specific skill set, and now I am a high income earner making over 15 times what I initially made when I first joined the Navy. Over the last 2 years since leaving the military, I have been blessed to max out all of my tax advantage accounts and will continue to do so until I retire. That is my 401k, my health savings account, and my backdoor Roth IRA. When it would be time for me to retire, I would have saved between $8 to $11 million. This sounds like a fantastic number, but the only issue I see with this is I don't want to wait until 59 and a half before I can be financially independent and use my own money. So I started searching for different mechanisms to make monthly income. I danced with the idea of doing options trading, crypto, wheel strategy, but there was a common theme with all of these. I just didn't have the time to dedicate to be good at it. I know if I did dedicate the time, I'd be one of the best, but I just don't have the time. And why would I risk a high income salary to jump into stocks, But so fast forward to, or backtrack to October/November of 2023, I was first introduced to yieldmax ETFs by my brother. He also has a YouTube channel called The Not Guru Investor, and I have the link in the description. Great channel. Highly recommend you check it out if you're into yieldmax investing or just investing strategies in general. But he initially bought 1,000 shares of Tesla and would talk about getting hundreds of dollars of premium every single month. I thought getting a premium payment every single month is super cool. And he pretty much bought the shares, waited a month, and then got paid $700 to $1,000 each time. I've never seen anything like it. So he bragged about these payments for a little bit until I eventually jumped in around January 2024. I also bought 1,000 shares of Tesla at the time. In hindsight, I probably would have not done Tesla. I just probably would have bought more shares of amzy or nvdy. But hindsight's always 2020. But either way, I still loved getting the $700 to about $1,000 every single month. But then the thought hit me, if I put more money in, I would make more monthly premium. This would then give me more flexibility to do whatever I wanted. But the problem with that is I was thinking too small. I was thinking I had to use my own money. I had to change my mentality of using my own money for these funds and use other people's money like lenders, heloc loans, personal loans, credit cards. But you have to be smart about looking at the different interest rates. This fund better be making more than the interest rate and the debt payment you have to make. But at first, I was definitely hesitant because of those reasons. It was because of the debt. These funds were relatively new, and I don't know how they would perform over time. And then there's also this term called NAV erosion being thrown out there. So I didn't really understand those things, but the more and more I got familiar with these topics, the more and more comfortable I got. But it wasn't until April of 2024 until I came across a channel called yieldmax TV. A guy named Oracle took a heloc loan against one of his properties, and in his words, used Robinhood margin to the tits to make about $20,000 per month using other people's money. That is literally more money than I make at my day job. And he's doing it literally by doing nothing and just waiting to collect his premium payment. At first, I thought this guy was crazy by doing that, but month after month, the checks were rolling in. Eventually, I also caved and did a similar strategy starting in June 2024, where I bought $140,000 of nvdy to make, $5,800 to $13,000 per month in premiums. Only time will tell if this was a great idea or my biggest financial mistake I've ever made. But with that being said, now let's talk about the strategy I'm employing with these funds to mitigate some of the risk. All right, let's talk about the strategies that are in the trenches. So for my specific project, I use two different types of strategies. One is called the 75-25 model, and the other strategy is the 50-50 model. The 75-20 model means I take 75% of the monthly distribution and pay down the heloc loan that I took against the rental property. This would pay off the loan faster and it would give me more peace of mind. The other 25% that is remaining would be reinvested back into nvdy to combat NAV erosion and over time increase my monthly premium. I'm only doing the 75-25 strategy for the nvdy shares. So let's look at this as an example. In July 2024, the premium I received was $13,700. So using the 75-25 strategy, 75% of the $13,700 is $10,275, and this will be used to pay back the heloc loan as soon as possible. The remaining 25% of $13,700 is $3,425. This will be used to reinvest back into nvdy because this will combat NAV erosion and it will increase my premium over time. All right, now let's talk about, the other two yieldmax ETFs I own are amzy and Tesla. I'm adopting a 50-50 strategy with these two for a couple of reasons, right? I kind of mentioned them in the why. These yieldmax funds, they are not time tested, right? There's NAV erosion, so this is my way of combating some of those concerns. So let's use this example of the premium I made in July, which is $13,700. So the way the 50-50 strategy works is I would take 50% of that premium, which is $6,850, and I would reinvest it back towards amzy and Tesla, right? The goal there is to combat NAV erosion at a higher rate, so I definitely wouldn't lose out on the NAV. But in theory, I'd also receive more money every single month, and my premium would be growing over time. And then the remaining 50% of that $13,700 would be used to invest into SPY and SCHD as a core holding. I consider a core foundational holding, which is where the price doesn't fluctuate and it's relatively stable. So SPY, the S&P 500, it's been around for decades, and it's always been stable and always goes up. And same thing with SCHD. It's a solid dividend ETF that appreciates, and it also grows its dividend over time and does not fluctuate that much. All right, now let's talk about some of the concerns. The one thing I want for you, my audience, to take away is to not be afraid of debt. You can't be afraid to make money, but you also can't be afraid to lose it. Taking out debt to make money is good if you do the research and have the risk appetite. Taking out money to spoil yourself when you don't have money by using credit cards and loans is bad. There is a difference. Too many people, I have an issue because too many people watch Dave Ramsey and are either deathly afraid of debt. How do you think the ultra rich got their money? They didn't use their own money that was given to them. They leverage other people's money by borrowing and using debt. I am adopting that same concept here and showing you that it is possible. So this is my mentality towards debt. If I have an investment that costs me $1 in debt, but I make $2 in profit, I'm always going to take out debt to make more money. Because if I took out zero debt, I would be making $0 extra dollars. And then the question here is, are you afraid of NAV erosion? Yes. But do you know what is scarier than NAV erosion? Being poor. So that's kind of my thoughts behind some of these questions: cost of debt, why take on debt, and just where I'm at on all of this. All right, now let's talk about the channel naming. So I wanted to come up with something different than what everyone else had. There's like a bunch of YouTubers out there that always have like dividend investor or $1 million investor or no bad this or something with like a dividend of distribution. So I wanted to come up with something more creative. So I came up with the idea of a project premium harvest, where it's like you're harvesting money every single month. Right. So the way I kind of came up with this idea is I view these like stocks as seed, and right, and by planting these seeds, which is the equivalent to buying yieldmax stock, the crop grows, which is the yieldmax options being ran by the yieldmax team, and then the harvest is you're racking in that monthly premium. So that's kind of the thought process behind the naming. Pretty simple. It might be cheesy, but wanted to be different. And then here are my final thoughts. We as human beings need to stop thinking too small. We have this very short time span on this earth, and I'd rather take the risks and potentially try to change my life where I never imagined going versus doing the exact same thing over and over again, expecting a different result and me being happier. So with that being said, get the skill, analyze the risk, get the money, change your life. It's that simple. Thank you for watching. If you watched this video all the way through, I hope that you would like and subscribe, because I will be creating more content. I will be having more updates. I will be coming up with projections. And this channel is only going to get better and better as I do more and more videos. So as always, I thank you for your time. Hope you're doing well, and I hope to see you again. Bye-bye, bye-bye.